In this video, I'm going to talk about some of the top pros and cons about living in Chilliwack, BC. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, it's Chris McRae with McRae Real Estate Group right here in Chilliwack, and we're helping clients from all around the Fraser Valley who are buying and selling real estate, and we absolutely love it. So if you haven't yet, please make sure to tap that subscribe button and click that little bell so you're notified every single time we do a new video about what it's like to live here in Chilliwack. Aside from the mild climate and improved quality of living, Chilliwack is also surrounded by recreation and mountain areas in the Chilliwack Lake Provincial Park and Cultus Lake. Now, since you're considering moving to Chilliwack, let's dive in and explore some of the top pros and cons of living here. Number one, there are lots of things to do in Chilliwack. Anyone that has visited or lived in Chilliwack will tell you that there are lots of fun activities for you and the family to do. If you like to get off the couch and be active, then Chilliwack will be a good fit for you. If you like doing anything outdoors, this is also the place for it. There are hundreds of kilometers of forest roads, trails for hiking, mountain biking, ATVing, snowmobiling, or even just going for a quick bike ride along the river. There are many lakes and rivers nearby that you can go swimming, you can go fishing in the lakes or boating. There are endless places to explore, and the views, they just never get old. Number two, more affordable housing. Now, I'm not going to say that housing in Chilliwack is affordable for everybody, but it is more affordable than, let's say, Vancouver. And one of the most important determining factors to consider when you are planning to relocate to a new city is the housing costs. If the cost to get a house in the place you are moving to is too expensive, you might have to reconsider unless finances are not a concern for you. Now, in saying this, Chilliwack has more affordable housing when compared to other cities, especially Vancouver, where the living cost is absolutely too high to start with. This is one of the main reasons we see so many families relocating from Vancouver to Chilliwack, even though Vancouver has more things to do than some places in British Columbia. Number three, amazing restaurants and breweries. One thing about Chilliwack is that you will never go hungry if you're outside your home. This is because there are so many restaurants to give you the feeling of being home even when you're actually far away from it. For beer lovers, there are many breweries around Chilliwack to choose from. There are some breweries in Chilliwack that also have outdoor fire pits where you can eat dinner with friends and family. I have gone to a couple of them and brought my whole family, and we had a great time. Number four, beautiful green environment. Almost everywhere in Chilliwack is surrounded by trees and mountains. Chilliwack's green environment is also one thing that makes Chilliwack a beautiful place to live. Basically, anywhere you go, it is going to be very, very green. Number five, lively community. It is not uncommon to find people who share the same interests as you all over the city because of the diverse range of people and immigrants. The residents of Chilliwack enjoy coming together for community support for people in need. I am very impressed at how supportive the community of Chilliwack is. Number six, less traffic. There is usually less traffic to deal with in Chilliwack. Sometimes in the summer you can get a slow day heading down one of the main roads like Vetter Road with all the people going out to the lakes. But in general, there is no rush hour in Chilliwack. But depending on where you have to travel for work, you might experience heavy traffic in general. Traffic is not heavy in Chilliwack for the most part. Number seven, employment opportunities. Per hour, the average salary in Chilliwack is $21 per hour. While it is understandable that there aren't as many job opportunities in Chilliwack as, let's say, Vancouver, the relative size of population and companies in both cities differ also. Number eight, less pollution. An area like Vancouver that is densely populated will experience an increased pollution rate than another area that is moderately populated. Chilliwack runs on agricultural activities, and the number of industries is not as high as other cities. For these reasons, Chilliwack will experience less pollution when compared with other cities in British Columbia. Now, for any city that has its advantages must also have some disadvantages, and this is why it's great to talk about the pros and the cons of living here. So, the following are some of the cons of living in Chilliwack. Number 1, dirty environment. Dairy farming and consistent agricultural practices on the farmland can sometimes cause most of the farm areas to be covered in manure from the animals. It can stink like manure from early spring until fall in the farmlands, from all the dairy farms and cornfields. The smell driving through or living in these areas definitely needs to be considered if you are planning on moving to Chilliwack. If you know you won't be comfortable with the smell of manure, you can consider relocating to other areas of Chilliwack where this is not a common occurrence. Number 2, limited road network. One bad thing about the road network is when there is an accident on one of the few major roads. Now, I know I mentioned that the traffic in Chilliwack on an average day is not very high, but if there is an accident on the highway, you are basically stuck in a slow-moving traffic jam. I've really learned how to avoid a lot of the traffic. There are different times when I take different streets and some areas that I avoid driving altogether. But if you take the back roads and try to avoid the main streets at certain times of day, you'll be just fine. Number 3, higher crime rate. The rate of crime in Chilliwack is something of concern for a lot of people. Crimes such as theft, home break-ins, vandalism, drugs, and others are on the high side. There are some areas of Chilliwack that have much higher crime that are bringing these crime rates right up. Now, if you want to reach out to me direct, I can explain these areas in detail for you. Number 4, lack of nightlife. There is not a huge amount of nightlife in Chilliwack, but luckily for you, if nightlife is very important, downtown Vancouver is close to around 1.5 hour drive. Number 5, transportation. If you are looking for a great transit system to travel back and forth to Vancouver every day from Chilliwack, you have to know that the transit system is not that great from Chilliwack to Vancouver. Once you get to Surrey, you can take the SkyTrain that will take you into the other major cities and Vancouver. And if you are wanting to take transit to go watch the Vancouver Canucks, for example, it would take you roughly 3.5 hours from Chilliwack. The transit system in town is not bad, but for traveling longer distances, it is pretty terrible. Making the decision to relocate to a new city can be confusing and scary. There are so many different factors to consider, but if you are planning on moving to Chilliwack, hopefully the pros and cons in this video should help you make the right decision. Now, as I mentioned before, we are here day and night, weekends. We don't ever stop. We get phone calls all the time and we absolutely love it. Our number and email address are below, so if you're thinking of moving to Chilliwack, give us a call, text, or email. However you want to get a hold of us, we are always here to help. And very important, if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button and tap that little bell so you're notified every single time we do a new video about what it's like to live in Chilliwack. Have a great day.